YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with my review of Uchu Sentai Kyuranger episode, I think it's 17? I want to say 17. But I need to just look at like a postcard before I start these so I know the right title. But I'll have the thing right in the description and the actual title, probably, maybe. Anyway, so this episode was okay. It was kind of a filler episode, but it's like one of those filler episodes where they introduced something, so you know, it kind of wasn't because it introduced something. It's actually kind of weird. I don't know if I've talked about this in previous reviews for Rider or Sentai, but it's kind of weird because there is this type of episode now where we'll be introduced to something, whether it's like a little power-up or a Zord or just whatever the gimmick is, and so that kind of makes it an event episode, but because they're so plentiful now, they don't feel as eventful. Like, usually an episode like this in the past would have felt like an event. Not like a huge, like, this is a new Ranger event, but it would have felt like, oh, this is a special story because we're getting a new addition to the arsenal. But now it's just kind of introduction episodes like this are just like the new filler, basically. So we got introduced to the power-up for Red, which is like basically a sun and moon power-up, which gives him like a sun like headdress or whatever, and then a moon one with different powers and personalities. And we saw that a while back in scans, and it's not my favorite thing. I think there's some cool stuff in the idea, and I kind of like the Kyutama-ish and the way it makes its own sounds and stuff for the toy purposes, but like in terms of a power-up, it's pretty lame. It almost looks like one of those sort of almost gags you get in like the not the V-Cinema, that's not the right one, but like in the Hyper Battle DVDs and stuff like that, it almost just seems like a gag thing. So it's not my favorite, and it's also one of those things that just seems to be kind of introduced as like an afterthought. Like, unless I missed something, which is 100% possible, but it really wasn't any good build-up for it, and I don't know, it's just kind of, the only thing I really liked about it is the sort of calm personality that Lucky had when he had the moon one, because it was meant to be all depressive and more dark. Mainly just because it calmed him the hell down. I'm tired of him. And I was tired of him after minute 1, to be honest, but it was just kind of nice, and that was kind of the only thing I liked about it. Both because it got him to shut up kind of for a minute, or at least be less annoying. And I do kind of like the idea of the different personalities based on that. But other than that, it was pretty much your average filler. You know, we're fighting the main general this time. They kind of broke into this domed city, which kind of reminded me of the domed city plot. I think it was from Lost Galaxy. There was actually a couple funny bits with, they drilled in there at the beginning with Chameleon, which was funny because Hammy called it a technique, and it really wasn't any kind of ninja technique, because it reminded me of like when the ninjas would call anything they did a technique. Like, oh, this is the sitting in the chair ninpo. I'm like, no, it's not a ninja technique, you're just doing something. So it kind of reminded me of that. But anyway, like later on in the episode, Commander needed to get in there, and he like tried to fit Ryu Voyager through like the snake passageway, and there was just so many innuendos. I could have screen capped the subtitles for the episode so many times, and it's one of those things where you don't know how much of it actually does sound like an innuendo in Japanese, or it's just being translated into ours, or both. But just the subtitles alone, for the conversations about preparing to do that, and then when he was actually doing that, he was like, oh, it's a tight fit, or like, just keep pushing it through or stuff. It was just so many innuendos, and it was kind of like one of those classic Commander bits, which I've actually found him pretty amusing most of the time. But everything else, I felt, like I said, it was pretty much just kind of an average filler. They did check in a little bit on Champ and Kotaro. I talked to him at the headquarters and asked him how Champ was doing and how he was doing, which was kind of nice, just to make that feel like it's all cohesive. I'm still holding out hope for that Kotaro-focused, you know, episode on the Academy. And now that Champ and Stinger are there, I think that could be good in terms of maybe doing an episode there, because then it wouldn't just be Kotaro and like random filler cast from the base. Like, we actually have 3 Rangers there, so I don't know. I would love to see them shake things up. Also, not really a huge note, but they did find the 3rd Kyutama, and now they're both searching for that thing. They kind of highlighted that both the Kyurangers and then now Scorpio was kind of like, we gotta find it before them. So again, I hate to bring this up every week, but because it's not something that would necessarily deserve praise, because it should be something that all shows do if they're doing something like this. But again, it is nice. that they are able to continue this plot. Mainly because Kyuranger did such a bad job with the champion cube, the champion symbol or whatever. Like, they forgot it for so long. It's almost as if those series you see when they air episodes out of order because it didn't matter. That's what it felt like. So even though it's a small thing, I am appreciative that their goals have felt neatly strung throughout the episodes. Not in the absolute best way, but even when you have like a filler, just bringing it up to let us know we're progressing through this current storyline is just nice. But overall, this was just kind of an okay-ish filler episode. I'd probably give it a 6.7. That's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast, writer.com, and of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.